Remember, when you subscribe to our channel, click on the red subscribe button and be sure to ring the bell so you get notified every time we have a new video. Thanks again. Hey guys, what's up? In this video, you're gonna learn how we taught Carl and Robin Jacobson. They're from the Woodshop TV, and they teach people how to turn things on a lathe like a pro. In this video, they wanted to learn how to create their hearth into marble magic. We actually emulate Carrara marble, or a white light colored marble, and Robin learned how to do this so she could create her own project with Carl. Guys, I really found out who the talented one is, and I think you will too. Guys, we also have some guests on this video. Paul's Toolbox. This is Paul Ricaldi. He's out in Louisiana. He's a firefighter and he's a DIY king. You guys got to check out Paul's Toolbox. He has DIY tips and tricks to teach you how to get things done. Also, we have Augustine. He's doing Stone Coat Countertop videos in Spanish. Thank you, Augustine, for doing that. In the link below, we'll have a link to his channel so that you can go see his videos in Spanish if that's your jam. Guys, stay tuned. Enjoy the video. Okay, guys, in this recipe, we're going to use our Art Coat. Art Coat has more UV resistant than our standard countertop epoxy, and it's perfect when you're doing a light colored countertop. We're also going to use our dye. This is a white dye. We were really happy with it in those samples, so we're going to use that again right now. We're also going to use black and white spray paint. We're going to mix our material for 2 minutes using a drill. After that, we'll pour the material out. We'll trowel it with our 1/8 by 1/8 square notch trowel. We'll chop it with a brush, and then it's time to play. We're going to add those additives. We're going to do that design that you just picked, and we're going to see if we can put a smile on your face. You're already smiling. You're smiling. All right. So Robin, you painted a truck for the movies. You want to tell them what it was?
Optimus Prime.
She painted Optimus Prime. Don't let Robin fool you. She's an artisan beyond measure, better than everybody in this room. I guarantee that. So we're about to have fun. You guys want to mix it? You want to show them how to do that? You're now a pro. You did this one time. You're now a pro. All right. All right, so we're going to add a little bit of that colorant. Then I'm going to actually trowel out this half, Augustine, and you're going to do that half. I'm just going to take that trowel. I'm going to move this material towards me. I'm not going over the edges at all yet. Okay? I'm going to bring this close to the edge, because if I start going over the edge, I start losing my material. I don't want to go over the edges until I've got the majority of the field. And then I'm just going to bring it back here, and then I'm just going to go over your edges now. I'm going to bring this back up here and go over these edges. I'm going to show you one technique that I do at this point. So it's kind of uneven. You can see a pool here. You can see pools around it. I do what I call mow the lawn. So I'll take the excess and I'll just come through. I'll bring it back to this edge and I'll mow the lawn of the entire project. So pull any loose bristles out. I'm going to chop my brush right here in this mass right there. And when I chop this out, I start with the heel. And because it spreads my brush out like this, instead of making stamps, I use the heel. And then I don't do rows like this, because that shows up man-made. I do random orbital chopping, and I don't leave dead space. So I'm just going to do this. And all I'm doing is so if you look at the light right, you're going to see those iridescent lines from the trowel. That's removing those lines, and it's also remixing this material. One of the keys with this too is the fact that we have a long open time on the product. It will still dry the next day. You still got the same amount of cure, but you have an open time that allows you to take your time. So this small sample, we may have spent a lot of time on it, but you have plenty of time to do large pieces too. And so when you're doing your kitchen, we only like to mix 2 quarts at a time. Do as much as you can, and then mix another 2 quarts and do the next. Don't try to do the whole kitchen at once. So you just work all your design, and then when you chop it again, it'll meld the color into, so you won't know where you stopped and started. All right, I'm gonna show you guys how to do some veins now. We gotta look at pattern. So when I'm doing this in a kitchen, you don't wanna do the peppermint patty pattern, okay? And what that means is, have you ever seen taffy that's almost like a barber pole where it's real uniform? Right. Yeah. That's our tendency, is to make uniformity, and we don't want that. We want organic. We don't want it to be predicted. You want to know that it just was organic. And so we know that we're going to finish with a really big accentuated vein. And so we'll pretend that this is the highlight of the job. Maybe it's this accent island. Okay. So if that was the case, I would put a vein kind of from offset center, and I kind of go through here and finish over here instead of trying to go like right dead center or something like that. So I'm gonna just add a little spray paint. I only put the paint on one end of the stick, and you can notice I'm not in a hurry. We got plenty of time. So I'm just gonna drag this, and this is how you get thin veins, okay? And a lot of times what I'll do, I'll put my veins in pretty straight. I don't like to do S's. I don't like to take that vein and do this. It looks really fake when you do that. So I'll go straight with the vein, and then we're gonna move that color. So another thing that I like to do is I don't like to just put it in once. I'll drag over that vein, because every time I move this, it's going to mix with that white that we tinted. The reason this looks like marble more is because it's toning it down every time you touch it. See how that will start to mix? See what that does?
Oh, yeah.
It really starts to make it look cool. All right, and then don't worry about crossing them. I don't like to, when I cross them, I don't like to make a perfect X. I like to come over here if I'm gonna cross it. Don't to the eye. So see how this is a good cross, because it's not gonna appear super fake. We got Carl Jacobson behind the wheel, ladies and gentlemen. Let's say you didn't want it to crisscross. I'll show you how to change this whole piece. I'm just gonna take this and start to brush it in that same grain pattern, okay? I'm gonna just get this thing going. You don't wanna stay at totally the same angle, so I'll change this a little bit. Maybe I'll come steeper in some areas. And just do that, just to kind of move this around a little bit. Some of this kind of picks up that it was done with the brush, okay? So if it looks pretty dang good, but let's say it was even more brush strokes, this is how you kind of erase that. I call this painting with air. So it's just a heat gun. And I'll just get in here, and I'll just start moving some of this. This is why I don't put them in squiggly. I don't try to force them to be organic with my hand. I do it with this kind of a tool. So like, see how this is brushed a little bit?
Yeah.
That's all you gotta do.
Right.
So this is 91% isopropyl alcohol. We shake that really well, because the metallic will settle in that alcohol if you don't shake it. So shake it throughout doing this.
What is this?
So you can put the metallic powders directly in epoxy, or you can do this and it will disperse. It will disperse in a really cool way. So by first fogging spray paint and then hitting this, it breaks it up to do that lacing or that effect. It also is going to affect this black. This black will react, but because it's buried in some epoxy, it won't react quite as the same. So it's just another layer. So the more layers that you do on top of each other, the first layer we did was just dragging those veins. The second layer was just brushing over that, so it gives you that depth starts to happen.
How many ounces of alcohol per half a bag?
Whenever we're going to mix our 91% isopropyl alcohol with our metallic powders, I like to use a funnel and a spray bottle. I'm going to mix about half a bag of metallic to 8 ounces of alcohol. I'll test the spray. We want to make sure it's nice and concentrated so those effects show up. If you have too much alcohol, it will be slightly diluted and less of a contrast to your project. If you've used too much metallic, it could clog your spray bottle. If that's the case, pull the nozzle out, put it in raw alcohol, spray some alcohol through it, and you're good as new. I love using this as an effect. Let's get started. We'll mix up our alcohol and do this recipe. So I'm just going to spray some of this white right there, okay? And then I'm going to immediately hit it. See how it does that?
Oh, it did.
You don't have to do the whole top if you didn't want to. Let's say we just wanted a section. So I could bring this in here, and it starts to give us some more visual interest. So, and then you can just do the alcohol some places, so you don't have to put the white paint. And if you got too big a blob right there, just hit it again. And you can see it's not misting out. It's like kind of heavy drops. If you mist, it'll do a different effect. So I'll just come back. Yeah, it will evolve a lot. So you can't really judge this right in the beginning. What I like to do is I like to mist just a little bit of black because it'll accentuate this, but I won't do a lot. But I'm just gonna come back here and just do like that kind of stuff. See how it makes it look more like,
all right, just, yeah.
Gives it some high and low points. I do that and it starts to give us some little dots. If you don't like that, you don't have to do it. But then like where we don't like that, the white and the alcohol will hide that. You see how you can still see the veins, like some of that still works. And so just work that in some patches and areas and see what you think. So keep hitting it.
Oh, okay.
More is less.
Yeah, instead of less is more.
More is the new less. You can see it makes them smaller like
Yeah.
instantly.
Let's say I got it a little bit too black or fog that. Now you could come back with that white and do another layer. And that will start to make it look more real too. So we'll just integrate the two. So layering it on top of each other will tone that down. If you look over here where we started, that looks extremely different than when we first hit it, but it starts to look more realistic for us too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I'm gonna use some white. See how the white and the black make a realistic vein?
Yeah.
Another key tip right here. This is up leveling your project. You use a little bit of resin. It'll make this thing flow a lot different for me. So this is how I make like my accentuated final veins. So I put a little resin in there and then I'll use the torch. I put it in straight and I move it with the torch. Let me mess with this vein. Let me show you what I would do because it's kind of light right here. So if I was making this piece, I would just take this stick and then just do this a little bit just to bring that vein out, but not nearly as drastic. And see, I skipped some spots. I didn't do the whole thing with the paint stick. So it really left that vein. I just borrowed color where it's just very little color. And I'm not really cleaning that paint stick a lot or anything like that. Sometimes I'll push the epoxy with this.
So yeah, now it looks more like time did something to it.
Exactly, yes. So it's not just by itself, right? Kind of, it fed into that. Maybe I could blow this out a little bit here. But what would you want to change on this if this was living in your house?
I guess them going this way.
You don't like that?
Seems too broke up.
Okay.
And so when you were talking, you would start here, kind of go all the way down, and then end up on that.
I'm gonna make my own real expensive tool here. We're gonna chop this out. We're giving ourselves basically a new backdrop, okay? Because we're gonna change the direction of those veins. And everything that we've done in here is okay. It's all good.
It'll still be look layered.
Yes, exactly.
The coolest thing about this is that you can change
You can make changes. You have
You know,
time.
I mean, that's
Yes.
like super.
No other epoxy I've messed with gave you the time that this gives you.
Hey guys, question of the day. Which piece did you like better, before or after we changed it? Let us know in the comments below. Back to the video.
Now that that's broken up, let me take a rag, because a rag is going to act different than a brush. It won't show up those brush strokes because we have all that paint in there. It's kind of showing the brush strokes more. So I'm going to use this to kind of give me that grain flow I want again. Okay, you can use a used glove that's got epoxy all over it. You can use a rag, you can use plastic. All of them will give you a slightly different effect. Let's try something now. Now we got a different backdrop. We're gonna do a bunch of lacing on this, and then I'm gonna put in your veins in the direction you want it. Okay, so I'm just gonna respray that, hit it. So I'm just giving ourselves a backdrop. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put in a big, cool, accentuated vein, and then we'll tie into that, okay?
Awesome.
Here's what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this reservoir right here. So this is where our vein's gonna go. All right, so I got the white in there. I'm gonna switch to black. So we're just changing that whole grain flow, right?
You know how Lichtenberg, are you familiar with burning?
Oh yeah.
So would you have like something coming up and then have like it kind of branch off? Or?
Let me show you what it would look like if you did branch it.
Okay.
So we got a main trunk right there, right?
Yeah.
And we're gonna branch that. Boom, we're gonna branch it right there. Okay. And then we're gonna blow that out with the torch a little bit. You like the branched out, or do you like it?
I love it.
Yeah, I'm just kind of going over randomly, but still following that same grain pattern.
Settle, it just starts. It does. It's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, really.
All right, guys. I had fun. This was cool.
Great.
This was cool. Did you
Thank
guys
you.
enjoy it?
Yes,
Absolutely.
very much.
Learn anything?
Yes, a lot.
Learn that we're crazy?
That too.
Awesome. Awesome. You guys did amazing. Guys, visit us anytime at stonecoatcountertops.com. Call anytime for free project support. And until next time from Stone Coat Countertops, you got this. We'll see you on the next Carl Jacobson Woodshop TV video.
Hey, thanks Robin for your excellent work on that fireplace. And which piece do you prefer, before or after?
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Head on over to stonecoatcountertops.com where you can look at all the project recipes, scrollable, downloadable, printable PDFs with words and images to help you along with your project, and all the products we used in this video, all over at stonecoatcountertops.com. Check it out.